58 million people in the United States are affected by poor mental health, with suicide being one of the leading causes of death. In fact, I am sure many of us currently are or know someone struggling with mental illness. With the different complexities in society, what role could climate change possibly play on this overwhelming and alarming topic? In 2019, researchers Jamie Mullins and Corey White set out to explore this. They conducted a correlation study using suicide rates, hospital visits, and self-reported mental health to measure the effects along with temperature data. Mullins and White pulled temperature data from across the United States between 1960 and 2016, using info from the PRISM Climate Group, a team that creates detailed climate datasets. They matched this with mental health data from public health records and self-reports from a large group of men and women. They looked at emergency room department visits for mental health, days people said their mental health wasn't great, and suicide rates. After gathering this data, the researchers went further and investigated sleep disruption as a possible explanation of the relationship between temperatures and mental health outcomes. As it is well known, sleep and mental health have a strong correlation. They gathered data on self-reported quality of sleep and duration of sleep. This information was then compared to temperatures on specific nights. Here are the results from the research. First, take a look at this graph. We can see what the red line shows that a 1-degree increase in average monthly temperature, noted on the x-axis, is associated with a 48% increase in emergency department visits for mental health problems, seen on the y-axis. Then take a look at the blue line. We see the same 1-degree increase correlated with a 35% rise in suicide rates across the United States, seen on the y-axis. Now looking at the sleep data. Note that the x-axis represents a temperature increase and the y-axis represents gathered sleep data. The graph on the left shows that as temperature increases, so does the number of poor nights' sleep. The graph on the right shows that as temperature increases, the number of minutes people sleep at night decreases. This evidence was gathered from the American Time Use Survey, ATUS. This survey reports on the minutes of sleep from the night before participants took the survey, and the Behavioral Risk Factor Surveillance System, BRFSS, which shows self-reported days of poor sleep. This is important to note because, as I touched on earlier, there is a lot of evidence showing that sleep is correlated with physical and mental health problems, injuries, loss of productivity, high blood pressure, depression, anxiety, and many more negative effects. Nobody likes a poor night's sleep. So basically, the researchers found that as temperatures go up due to climate change, we're seeing more mental health struggles and people just reporting feeling worse overall. The trend is pretty clear. When it gets hotter, emergency department visits for mental health problems and suicide rates tend to rise. On top of that, there is some interesting evidence that sleep is part of the puzzle. Hotter temps seem to mess with sleep, which can then take a toll on mental health. The sleep data showed that as temperatures climb, people are sleeping less and having more nights of poor quality sleep. Because of important research like this, in the future, we have the potential to really improve mental health interventions.